Is there an appropriate time for incest? Yep, that's how I'm starting this video. What up guys, it's your favorite bird lizard cyborg here, Penginsaurus, and now that my video has been flagged as age restricted, let's talk about a hot topic, the coffin of Andy and Lele. Now it's been a few months and the buzz has kind of died down around it, but originally when things were going down in November, I decided against posting a video about it because I was like, my small channel can't handle a targeted cancel attack. But the short that I posted on the game last year has been getting almost daily comments, and even though I know that some of them I should just not engage, my morbid curiosity surfaces and I just can't help myself. So I just want to address the misinformation around this game in this video. Because misinformation is just our daily breakfast on the internet these days. Any person with a phone can upload whatever they want to their socials, and people will read these and take them as fact. Even my Andy and Lele video is full of false information, because I like to make jokes and satirical content. But I bet there are some people who saw it and revalidated their prejudices against it. So I guess I'm also to blame for adding to the misinformation. But it doesn't excuse the fact that at the end of November 2023, the creator was doxxed and threatened by people wanting to cancel the game. And it forced the creator to step down from being the face of the project and handing it over to Kit9 Studios. But even scarier for me is that while doing the research on this video, I learned that after the initial doxing of the creator, there was also a targeted crusade that continued to dox and attack content creators. Anyone covering the topic of Andy and Lele, especially those defending it, admitting they were fans, or calling out the harassers, were potentially at risk. Some people had their Discord and socials raided, they were getting a flood of hate speech in their DMs and comments, people reported receiving CP, gore, and suicide videos, and some reported receiving calls at their place of work, which is not only scary for me, and is honestly making me second guess even posting this video, but it is also just disgusting behavior. Like, don't get me wrong, I also do not approve of incest, but this is a fictional game. How can you get so passionate about a fictional story to the point that you would threaten someone over it? And what's with the historical inconsistencies? Game of Thrones had a much wider audience than this small indie game, and they had bare-ass incest on the first episode, and several more times during the series, that was way more graphic than anything in this game. That being said, let's actually talk about the game, and let's start off with the biggest fact that might come as a shock to some of you. Canonically, Andrew and Ashley have never had sex. Which again, I know I made a reference to that in my video, but that was a joke because of how much R34 content is out there and how much it was memed around. The scene that everyone is referring to and is being completely blown out of proportion is a demonic premonition that Ashley sees in a dream where they do have sex. They wake up from the dream and Andrew is shocked because that is not how he viewed their relationship at all, and Ashley teases him about it because she likes making him uncomfortable. This route is only viewable if you choose the quote good options that build up their relationship, because otherwise it's a dream where Andrew actually tries to kill Ashley. Now the game is only 50% done when I'm posting this, so in the future, could this be an actual scene? Maybe. Probably not though, because of all the harassment. But as it stands, this one scene accounts for less than 1% of the total game. And one of the most annoying things I've seen people talk about is how the entire game is focusing on this quote, incestual relationship. Again, they've never had sex, that plot point is very small, and there's also a lot more going on than the story. Now, my next point, people like to say, you could leave the incest stuff out and the story would be exactly the same. The incest stuff is just for shock value. Again, the incest hasn't happened yet. And counter argument, I think the incest premonition scene actually does add to the story, because the story is about this really messed up relationship between the Grave siblings. Ashley is very hard to deal with. She has no friends, and their parents neglected her because they don't want anything to do with her. So because of that, she was pushed onto Andrew to take care of her, and their relationship starts off more similarly to parent and child. However, over time, this slowly grows into an extremely toxic relationship. Ashley almost becomes parasitic, leeching all the attention from Andrew, while also pushing away friends, girlfriends, and their parents, completely isolating Andrew from other social circles. Andrew, who's just trying to be a good brother, enables his sister's behavior instead of stopping it, and each time he buries his feelings of frustration and resentment that accumulates beneath the surface. And over time, he just becomes apathetic to the whole situation, which results in him even caring less about human life as he has no problem later killing others. So the two of them are trapped in this relationship that isolates them from the rest of the world. I wouldn't say it's romantic at all. I would say it simply serves to satisfy that human need for attention and basic levels of social interactions. However, because they spent so much time with each other and there really is no outside influence on them, That's why for them, the lines are starting to become blurred. If you basically spent your whole life with one person, even though you know it would be wrong to get with them, there would probably be some confusing feelings deep down that you know you should ignore, but given the whole situation with social isolation and apathy towards life, why would traditional social values and norms matter to you at all? So the point of this very long-winded argument is the incest premonition has a role in the story, and it's a small role that is being completely blown out of proportion. But it does add another facet to this complex relationship between these toxic siblings. And for me, that was the most interesting part of the game, because it is a psychological horror game and we are looking at how this toxic relationship formed and where it is going. The things they do are supposed to make you feel uncomfortable and challenge your vulnerabilities and values. Alright, let's do some rapid fire corrections from what I've read. It's a story about underage incest. Andrew is 22 and Ashley is 20, and they haven't had sex yet. So nothing from this statement is accurate. That's just anime logic excuse. Looks like a child, but it's actually an 8,000-year-old dragon. They can't be abandoned by their parents if they live at home at 20 years old. Looks like a child, acts like a child, blah blah blah, okay. I won't defend legal lollies in anime because that topic doesn't really apply to me since I like ara mommies. But the siblings weren't abandoned as children, they were neglected. You can see in this scene they would eat dinner in the corner by themselves while the parents ate at the table, because again, the parents pushed Andrew to take care of Lele so they didn't have to deal with her. However, when they become adults, the parents sell them to organ harvesters so they can run away to their new house and restart their life without you. That's actually the premise of why you are in a fake lockdown in your apartment at the start. And sold to organ harvesters, I don't think it gets much more abandoned than that. Also, just because they live at home does not make them children. Kicking kids out once they hit 18 is mostly an American value, and even so, nowadays there are increased rates of people living at home with their parents in their 20s because of how expensive housing is. Okay, but why does a horror game have a cutesy art style? Just because a game has that early 2000s Pokemon graphics does not mean it's targeted for kids. And besides, that cutesy art style in horror has been a thing for a while, because that juxtaposition between something that should be calming and enjoyable put in a darker setting creates something even more unsettling. Five Nights at Freddy's, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, The Amazing Digital Circus, My Friendly Neighborhood, Bendy and the Ink Machine, Garden of Bam Bam, Poppy Playtime, Chucky, or just like clowns in general. No special circumstances, just clowns. Does this game take place in Alabama? Sweet home Alabama. Ah yes, Alabama and incest. I see what you guys did there. You guys are so funny. There definitely wasn't a buttload of this comment, and each one was very original and funny. Ha 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 ha. And lastly, just an interesting trend I would notice. The people who were outraged the most about the game haven't actually played the game. And it's kind of funny to see so many comments trying to say things like incest isn't necessary to the story when they haven't actually read the story. And honestly, I'm probably talking to a brick wall here, but I'm hoping to have enlightened at least one person who only knows the memes, because that was actually me. I started playing the game because I heard it was so controversial and disgusting, and then I actually played it and I was like, this is tame as fuck. I'm used to seeing these incredibly disturbing imagery in horror games that sometimes linger in my head for days. I played this game and thought, okay, the story was interesting, but what is the controversy? Because my first playthrough, I didn't even get the incest premonition. And then my second playthrough, I actually saw it, and I couldn't believe the uproar this 10-second little scene caused. The way people talk about it make it sound like it's an H game with cheek clapping every 5 minutes. And the saddest part was, again, I thought the story was actually pretty interesting, but unfortunately, everyone is focusing on the wrong thing. So anyways, hate to end on a sad note, but that does it for this video. Thanks to everyone for watching this far. I know I was kind of ranting on this one, but I actually was kind of sad at how the developer was treated, because honestly, I found the game pretty interesting and I don't know what future is in store for it. Also, be sure to leave a comment down below about Alabama, because obviously I haven't had enough of that joke yet. Thanks again for watching, and see y'all next time. Peace!